All right. Stephen Benoit Jericho here live, and this is episode 7 of the Hybrid Origin series. Now, Joe Rivers is a little bit behind, finalizing some details over there where he's the manager, general manager over in Megalo, so understandable. I heard that he will be calling us here within the next few moments. Now, all of you that are new to this series, just tuning in, the Hybrid Origins is a deep dive into some of your favorite eFed characters across at least our territories, and we are looking to expand. Right now we are up to episode 7, but the list is long. We have months and months of scheduled shows ahead of us, folks. And also, after this broadcast, there's a short break, and then come right back here to the Hybrid Wrestling Alliance YouTube show to check out episode number 18 of the Hybrid Universe. Once again, hosted and live commentary by myself, SBJ, Stephen Benoit Jericho. And here we go, folks. Joe Rivers. Joe Rivers, are you there, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. Loud and clear to me. Hopefully everyone that's watching can hear you as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, Joe Rivers is here with us. Now, Joe, looks like Rio has tuned in as well. There's a lot of people, at least in the Facebook group and page, that said they definitely wanted to be here tonight to check this out on the little event scheduling, so hopefully a lot of them make it here. We got Townsend has joined in as well, a close friend of yours, I know.
Oh, no. I cannot stand.
Are you still there, Joe?
Yes, can you still hear me?
You're breaking up a little bit. Feck is checking in here. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Feck, but can you guys hear?
I'm familiar with him.
Can you guys hear Joe very well? Just want to make sure. This is one of the first times we've tried to do the through the phone feed for everybody. But so Joe Rivers, most of you here know him, but I know that we've got a lot of members from the New Breed universe who just barely came over to us. So if you don't know, Joe Rivers, one of the great legendary characters from the shows like IWA and UCW, and many other brands out there as well. So, Joe, let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time, because we are, we have a short break in between, but we want to give you some time to tell your story. So, Joe Rivers, the Rivers clan, one of the most prestigious families in wrestling over the years. Now, Joe, did it start with you, or were your family members before you, dad, grandfather, anything, were they in the wrestling business as well?
No, it actually just started with me. It started with me watching the 1-2-3 Kid on TV, Razor Ramon. That's when I first fell in love with it, and that's when I first started making my way to getting into the business.
So, in the early years, before you broke in, even before amateur, who did you train with? Like you legendary career. Who did you train with him?
Killswitch Joe.
Killswitch Joe, another great name. I'd love to have him on here as well one day. You and he had a lot of storied rivalries and friendship, and just a huge career together, basically. So that's another good name. Shout out to Killswitch Joe. One of my probably top 5 eFed superstars, to be honest, since day one that I got in the business. So you're training. Yep.
He was one of my first rivals alongside Slick Rick, and I still cannot stand that. I hate that man more than I hate CFT.
I don't even know how to respond to that. You hate Slick Rick more than CFT?
Yeah, it's hard to believe, but there is a man that is hated more than CFT.
Now, that is saying something. So Slick Rick, he is here in HWA as well, trying to kind of rejuvenate his career. This point, he's still kicking ass, but spends a lot of time actually helping. It's weird saying this, but again, Slick Rick helping some of the up-and-comers in this point in his career. It's weird to say, but from the bad guy.
Unless the curb stomped him a few too many times to knock a few bolts loose for that to actually happen.
Maybe, Joe, maybe. All right, so back to Joe Rivers. Now, you start training with Killswitch. Where did you first... If we look back in the archives, we want to look into some of the old HWA or IWA shows or something. There's always a brand that you can find some of these indie talents and amateur shows on. Where did you actually get your amateur start? Are there any specific shows that some people here might still recognize?
Yeah, actually, they may not recognize it, but it was an off-brand, almost kind of like an NXT version for UCW. Way before Rush, there was a brand that had a lot of creativity on hold by Killswitch Joe, which was called UCW Rampage. That's where I first made my mark at, and that's where I won my actual first world championship. And then I went to the main roster and faced off with the likes of Bad Boy and a lot of run-ins with the Royal Army in UCW.
I'm very familiar with those guys. Not really. I can't really say a fan of the Royal Army, but they did do a lot to boost many people's careers, and apparently including your own. And actually, a close friend of mine, Devil Dog, started off in the Royal Army as well.
Yeah, I was at one time a member of the Royal Army with Joe River, or with Killswitch Joe and Lewis C. And then I went on my own and left the Royal Army and spent a lot of time now bouncing as allies to the Royal Army. And what was then Forged in Pain alongside Devil Dog, I was not ever an official member of Forged in Pain, but I did a lot of coming to their aid or standing by them.
I remember watching a lot of that, especially in the actual Forged in Pain indie show that they sort of put on back in the day. And a lot of those guys... What's that?
From what I've been told, has given you anxiety attacks watching my matches.
Well, I was hoping to avoid those days and talking about that. So back in the Forged in Pain, the actual show days, ladies and gentlemen, there were points that had supposed to have been almost scripted. Like sometimes in the wrestling business, there are points when we are supposed to put the next guy over. It's just the way it is. Some of these veterans, they come in and they get their shots, and they can have their title run, and then we approach them. We're like, look, it's just time. Like, you're a superstar. This is a small show. We need you to, sort of help boost one of these younger guys. And for the love of God, Joe Rivers just would not participate and would not let go of that. What was it, the Battleborn title at the time, I believe, correct?
That would be correct.
And you just seem to not want to give that title up. You would, just kick the head off whatever opponent we put in front of you. And basically, I think I am only bald because of you, Joe Rivers.
Yeah, I could see that. And then just keep kicking the head off of Bobby Wade to grab that Supreme Championship.
Indeed, that was one of the more intriguing spots as well. That had the whole wrestling world confused. I remember Bobby Wade coming out with Tiffany Rivers at one episode and was actually in his corner.
Now, I did promise you a couple groundbreaking announcements. One of those actually regards to it was a ploy all along to get rid of Bobby Wade.
We remember that. There was the allegations of having some sort of pepper powder, traces of that found in his beard. There were allegations that Tiffany may have put it in his beard, so when you kicked him, it got in his eyes. Nothing ever came up that was never deemed true or false. But apparently you just basically told the world that indeed was the case.
Yes. Like many times I have tried to rid the world of the disgrace called Bobby Wade, and he just still kept coming back.
Now, Mr. Townsend is you'd be doing this company a service. Aaron Wade is the superior because he is Townsend's client. Now, do you not like the whole Wade family? I know you guys basically came up around the same time and built your legacies together. Is it the whole family, or is it just Bobby?
It's just Bobby. I can't really say too much on Aaron, as I've never really had to cross paths with him. But my brother Noah may have another story alongside Jason Young. They may have another story to say. But for myself, I don't have a problem with Aaron. Besides the fact that he's with that piece of trash CFT. But that's another story for another time.
Yeah, Aaron Wade tonight going for actually number one contendership for HWA's heavyweight title. All right, so
good luck to him.
So as you start rolling, we already know that guys like Slick Rick and Killswitch Joe were some of your top rivalries. Let's get into a little bit about some of your favorite moments in your career, like matches that stand out to you, title matches, things like that. What are some of the matches that helped Joe Rivers click and made you really solidify basically who you are?
As much as I hate giving him any sort of credit, it has to be Slick Rick. Everybody knows by now that me and Slick Rick spanned a 4-year rivalry over 12 different companies. That was the go-to rivalry. Like, every company needed to have Joe Rivers versus Slick Rick headlining their show. After that, it kind of it went on just a straight path until I went to GPW. Not very many people know about them, but they're over there. They're a bigger show, but not as big as most of the Facebook community knows them as. Where I then once again met Slick for their United States Championship, and that lasted again about another 2-3 months. After that, it kind of went on to where I took on the head of that company, the actual owner, and a series of matches to determine whether we was going to remove him from power or not. That I put that whole entire company on my back. But my favorite match by far would have to be a guy over there in actual GPW by the name of K-Dog. I've never been tossed off a cell in my life. As many of my fans know that I donned the nickname Mr. Hell in a Cell for a reason. Because I took on the likes of Wade in a cell, Lewis C., Adam Walters, even taking on Devil Dog a couple times in a cell. And it's almost impossible to beat me in a Hell in a Cell. This man literally threw me off the cell through the announce table at least 4 different times, or some sort of table. I'm pretty sure he tried killing me in that ring that day.
One of the reasons it seems like you may have stopped or ended your in-ring career a little bit shorter than a lot of people really wanted to see, when you have guys like, Slick Rick still going, Killswitch still going. I just wanted to thank everyone. Make sure you all like, subscribe if you haven't already. Thumbs up here for Joe Rivers. I see James Black is checked in, everybody. We've got a lot of our Alliance members showing love to each other there. We got Feck subscribing and supporting New Breed. Good stuff, people.
I've seen James Black pop up on here, and that actually is going to lead me to, you made the comment about it's kind of slowed my in-ring career. It's actually very much alive. It's going to take a little bit of looking. Recently, I signed with HKW.
Hell's Kitchen.
Yes, that's where I am there, one of their champions over there. And more recently, a place that James Black is all too familiar with is, as of last month, I had signed with 3Dub.
Hold on a second. Joe Rivers has signed a contract with Worldwide Wrestling with Drew Gessner. You just confirmed that.
That is correct. I made an appearance right before the show, right before TV4, and that was the last time you've seen me in there. And then I recently signed and bailed out Royal Army member Will King and the Heel Money, and aligned myself with them.
You aligned yourself with Will King, of all people.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to believe, as me and him have had numerous rivalries. Take back at the past, I think either last March Mania in IWA or the one before that, where me and him fought for the IWA Universal Championship, where that bald-headed freak Chris Hunter cashed in.
We got the last villain alive, Rio, on the thread booing Will King. And we got Blaze Radio checking in. Thank you, Blaze. I always like to pop over and watch some of his shows. If you guys haven't already, check his stuff out. He supports a ton of different e-feds out there and does streaming commentary. All right, I don't believe it's live streamed. I believe he's just got a YouTube show. But supports a lot of different companies out there. You will see a lot of familiar faces that are from our neck of the world. We see Conor Omega on a lot of his shows, just one name. So, definitely want to check them out. And the newest member of our alliance, New Breed Wrestling, New Breed Universe, rather. Make sure everyone that's watching now goes and checks out some of their stuff. A very cool, this is a little bit of out of character, but they have a pretty cool little point system that's interactive where you earn points through the finishes of the matches, and I believe there's a point system in place that earns points through your promos. MJ Jones, if you are watching, can confirm that, but check that out. And again, folks, like and subscribe here. We got Joe Rivers on the phone. Joe Rivers just seeing that he signed recently with 3Dub, so love to see you back in action. What are some of your goals over there? You are aligned with Will King and Heel Money. Is there a plan? Do you know when you will be taking your first shot in ring in 3-Dub.
Yeah, actually, I do, but I have not been told that that I can release that information yet. I can tell you it is with a man that is very close to me coming through the ranks, especially in IWA and UCW. I will be going at it with him. I can't tell you when or where. I just know it will be happening soon.
One of those special scenarios. I know Drew, a lot of experience. It's well documented that Drew and I have a close relationship. 3-Dub and Mr. Gessner are major shareholders. I think they actually hold the most shares in the conglomerate. So they are majority holders of HWA. He can be real secretive with some of his special events that he has planned and things like that. Loves to use that element of surprise when he signs big names like Joe Rivers and things. So, I hadn't even heard, as close as he and I are, and he knows my history with you, Joe, I had no idea that this was a thing until you just told the world.
It's actually been about a year in the making. It originally started when not very many people already know that I have a school that I bring up some of the more younger talents, such as Drago. And Logan Grimes is one of the first ones that graduated through my school. We had a contract, we sat down, all had a contract negotiation. Drew did not want to lose a member from my school, and I opened.
You went blank on there, Joe, for a second.
Logan's contract was expiring, and they didn't really want to lose a member from my school, so I was like, you know what? Let's step into negotiations with myself. And right before the season started, we finally inked the deal. Just nobody knew what was in store. Much like there's with me, nobody knows what's ever in store with me.
So is it a regular solid contract, or is this just for this big match that you can't really tell us about?
I can't really tell you about the big match, but I can tell you that it's going to be a long-term effect.
There you go.
I will be regularly there. And I see CFT asked a question about my thoughts of CFT.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. I just didn't want to interrupt you as you were going there.
It's going to be a joke on Slick's career. I can't stand him, but this is like a slap in the face to Slick Rick's career to even remotely think about entertaining Mr. Billionaire in a match.
I assure you folks that this pizza that I am eating right now is not the pies that are here delivered that Will King had sent in. This is one that I had Nicole go down straight to the pizza place and get for me. One bite, everybody knows the rules. So this is going to be a slap in the face. I apologize for eating on here. Again, last night, this whole Malin Mania thing, I had him as a neighbor in the hotel last night. We'll just leave it at that, and he had some guests. Nicole is real. Malin Mania. And you yourself, I know this is about you, Joe, but just tell the world, you've seen Christian Malin in action, right?
That is correct.
So he definitely has the tools, and he's fought people way bigger than him. He's won the tag title by himself. Well, I don't know if everyone is just messing with myself and the HWA management team of everyone that's saying they don't know who he is, but obviously he's known by the world because everything's just been blowing up. He's the talk of the EFED world right now that we signed him here. So I don't know if everyone's just playing some sort of mass prank on myself and Sergio or what's going on. Manny the Bold, thank you for checking in. Malin should join Townsend Enterprises, Clarence said. Maybe the guy does what he wants. He's kind of a douchebag, to be honest, but he's very talented.
That would honestly kill his career. Anybody that joins Townsend Enterprises would kill his career.
I don't necessarily agree 100% with you because, I mean, here we've got Aaron Wade, #1 contender match. We've got Ryan Steele, who will be taking on a close friend of yours, Max Steele, for the light heavyweight title.
Good old Golden Peacock, or as I like to call him over in lit, Golden Dildo.
Now, we've got James Seal actually checking in from IWA. We were talking about him. And we've got Ian, the Scottish Warrior. The Scottish Warrior, someone that, I bet before long you'll get to know pretty closely. Scottish Warrior, not a big fan of heel money over in 3-Dubs, so you'll get to know him a lot more.
Well, I can honestly say to Ian, as well as just if you don't know me, Ian, you're going to know I ain't backing down from a fight. So anytime you think you can step up to me, let's go. I don't back down.
Definitely do not. We've seen you take on, I believe I watched you fight 3 men at one time, and I don't remember if it was UCW or IWA, but you ended up beating all 3 of them. I don't remember exactly who they were in that match, but...
And yes, Vincent Ian Palmer, I am very well aware of. I have now disowned any sort of training that I've given him. Did not approve of him joining Townsend Enterprise when he came to me talking to about them.
So, I've only seen flashes of him. I've actually just seen him ringside recently, and I saw him actually with Ryan Steele attacking Max Steele, but I haven't actually seen him in the ring. So he's actually from your camp, Joe.
Yes. He's somehow over in Rush, now owned by Megalo. Is the Rush World Champion. He somehow managed to sneak his way into a triple threat match featuring Riley Saint and walk.
Hold on, see, we lost you again, Joe.
He had VIP is actually from my camp. He's the current Rush World Champion. I don't understand how or even how he even got into that match. I'm having a board meeting with the Megalo board tonight to find out how he got in there and go about trying to strip him of that title.
Yeah, you're the general manager there, correct? How did you end up having a man in a match that you didn't know about?
I am actually not the general manager there. I am the owner.
Oh, you own it now.
Apparently, while I was away on vacation, he somehow snuck his way into getting a match at the pay-per-view to get him a title shot. I don't know how, but he did it.
For all of you just signing on, again, as the poster says, Joe Rivers here, live with us. Make sure you hit a like on there, subscribe if you haven't already, leaving comments. Joe and I have been reading your comments here and addressing them, so make sure the more you comment on here, if you come up with your questions, the more fun these type of shows are for you the person on the interview, myself. It just makes it a overall better experience. So again, thank you all. Make sure you hit that like button for Joe Rivers. So back to, we kind of talked your career a little bit. We talked where you've been, what you've done. You've recently just signing with 3Dub. That's a big one. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. Drew Gessner, I know, planned on being here, so it would have been cool to have him here when you announced that. Drew, are you with us? Usually he checks in and says hello, but I'm not sure if he's actually on right now. But owner of Megalo, another part of us. Megalo is it's like a subsidiary of APW, correct?
That is correct. And then also a part of Megalo is kind of like the NXT for APW. I wouldn't say it's entirely the NXT because we do have our own stars, but we do work closely with APW, as well as Rush is a part of UCW.
You still work over there with Zet Steel? You guys sort of share that with him, right?
Yes. They actually own the name and the rights to Rush that we are using as part of our brand, but under the UCW and Megalo flag.
So something interesting that for somehow passed over my brain when you mentioned, it was just such a shock, especially that you're part of Heel Money. There's another man that we've already talked about several times that's part of Heel Money. Bobby Wade. How are Joe Rivers and Bobby Wade going to work together within the same faction walls? How is that even possible after you guys' history?
That's yet to be seen. Being backstage for about the past month and a half, and only recently making an appearance on 3Dub, I have not had to run into that ginger-headed freak at all, thankfully.
So it sounds like Will King doing a decent job over there, at least to this point, keeping his soldiers in line and keeping them sort of in separate squads at this point. So, shout out to you over there, Will King, and Heel Money. And more news, we actually have been working a deal with Will King, and Will King will be over here in HWA very soon. Sergio has been working with him, day and night, ironing out their contract, and it looks like they are, a sliver away from coming to terms and having Will King come over here. So apparently another friend of yours, Joe. So there's a lot of new people in HWA now, including Rio from New Breed and things. So Joe Rivers, you actually retired at one point, or at least semi-retired from your in-ring career, and you were a general manager for HWA before we originally closed our doors.
That is correct.
So for those that remember those days, who were with us originally when Joe Rivers was the GM, you disappeared sort of out of the blue, Joe. It looked like you were starting to try to help make some changes to keep the doors open, helping to get rid of some of the criminal activity that had been going off thanks to, guys like Brandon Coleman and his two thugs that escaped prison and were running amok, and, there's a potential murder tied there. A couple of them with DTM and the whole finding the stripper in the motel room, Martrix finding that letter and the CD, and Sander tied up. It was just a mess at one point. And you were trying to nip that in the bud, right?
That is correct. I am almost 100%. I can't even tell you if I'm even on the right track. But it seemed as soon as I got close to the culprit, which I fully 100% believe that it was DTM being the ringleader on this, they managed to get me to disappear for a while.
Right, you ended up coming up missing, and then there was this strange video. It looked like you were in some rundown shack, and a man that actually went to your school, Logan Grimes, was claiming to have kidnapped you.
Yeah, Logan Grimes did manage to succeed in getting me. Thankfully, I had the likes of Noah Rivers, my brother, who is alongside in the Royal Army. They came and chased them off and was able to make the save.
Now, did you fear for your life while you were there, or was this sort of, detaining you to just shut you up and keep you out of the way so they could finish, the sabotage of HWA at the time?
I do fear that, or I didn't fear for my life. I feel like it was just to get me to shut up and let them have their way, which unfortunately it did work. They got me out of the way, and originally we closed the doors.
That was a mess between our owner, Lee Jones. Apparently he had borrowed money from the Russian mafia in order to actually fund HWA originally, and then that came out, and then that young lady, that reporter, I don't remember her name. If someone remembers that's watching, remembers the reporter's name that worked for HWA then, that got caught up in investigating all this. She disappeared, may have had ties to this mobster. We don't know for sure, but she was on that case. But she came up missing. It was just a mess back in those days, the old days of HWA. But luckily, we actually were provided funds to reopen and reestablish from guys like Joe Rivers, from Drew Gessner and 3Dub, from IWA James Seal. A lot of investors really believed that we had something good here and put out their own money in order for us to reopen. So thank you all. UCW, part of that. Will King, huge money in it. Trey Jeter, just all of you pitching in. We appreciate all your support to make this even possible. And because of that, that's why we are pushing so hard. We've got the Origin series. We've got all the great production as much as we can with our limited resources. We are trying to make this a good show for everyone. CSWA, another investor, James Sargent over there. So again, shout out, thumbs up. Hit that like button on this video for all of those guys for supporting us. New Breed threw out a question there. I don't know if that's towards me or you. With the influx of factions, how are you and your team looking to maneuver through the land of many giants? So I think that may be towards you and Heel Money, because there are indeed tons of factions out there. Heel Money, kind of one of the newer ones. They've been around for about a year at this point, over in 3Dub. But how do you think that Heel Money is going to stand out amongst all these other big established factions?
I mean, let's all, like, hatred aside, let's look at it. The members that are of Heel Money are as big as it comes. Let's look at their accomplishments. Bobby Wade, Will King, Joe Rivers, all in one group, you ain't gonna get much bigger than that. So we are the giant in the land of the giants. There's gonna be nothing stopping us.
There you go, Rio. There's your answer, and that's along the lines of what I was thinking when I was hoping you were going to give for an answer. So I appreciate there. So, and all these companies that I'm talking about, New Breed, Rio, MJ Jones over there, all of us share roster. So if you are looking to scout, I know New Breed was looking to add a third brand to their show. Put that out there. We are all under one umbrella alliance. So if you are looking to scout any talent, whether you want newer guys, whether you want established superstars, we've got it all right here. And Joe Rivers is definitely part of that because of his connections. Even if he doesn't go there, he knows guys. He trains guys. So if any of you are looking, Joe Rivers is a great person to reach out to, ladies and gentlemen. D. Dunn checking in, hired gun over there who a big part of things recently, attacking Feck. I guess thank you for checking in, Gun. Sort of a mysterious guy. I hope to sit down and talk to him soon. But those of you just jumping in, make sure you hit that thumbs up for us. Hit that like button, Gun.
I do want to go back. I see CFT's questions about the slap to DTM in Megalo.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's referring to there.
There was a one-off match that I made an appearance in Megalo where I took on DTM. I kicked DTM's head clear across the world. And then he somehow managed to get me back into a corner.
I don't think you kicked him hard enough because his mouth is still flapping. Apparently you didn't swing hard enough, Joe.
I did slap. I don't know what happened afterwards, but I will say I slapped the taste out of his mouth where he became a Russian, German, Nazi spy. I don't know. He went AWOL from to where Sander Cool had to get involved to try to stop BTM on his crazy rampage over there in 3WA. That was a weird time. It kind of scared me. I'm not gonna lie.
That's DTM. DTM's definitely got more than a couple screws loose. I know a lot of you new people on there. DTM, he's a very controversial, to say the least, figure. A lot of what he says, I don't know, borderline militant cultish, I guess is as close to describing DTM as I can. The guy, he loves America, loves his country more than anything. But you can say that he's an American extremist. No doubt about it. That is the term. He's an American extremist. You heard Muslim extremist. You've heard, all these different terrorist organizations. He is basically the American version of Al Qaeda. I'll say it. He is the American version of Al Qaeda. That's DTM. And he is signed to HWA. And he is out of jail. Somehow he dodged the prison sentence recently. And he's looking to get back at in-ring action. I don't know how he keeps doing it.
I don't know. That honestly does not surprise me. But he has gotten on my last nerve. Trying to claim to be this false prophet, the Messiah, when I'm the curb stop Messiah. I am the original Messiah of the EPED world. There's no bigger name. And to think a little false prophet is going to run around using my name that was given to me by several different companies. He's got another thing, and him, especially when next year at Immortal Legacy in APW, it is going to be, once again, Joe Rivers taking on DTM.
So you brought up something I want to touch on real quick right here. Again, anyone new to the show right now, just checking in, takes 0.2 seconds. Click that like button for us. Show your support. We put great superstars here for you to hear their stories. Work hard. This is work, no doubt. I have fun doing it, but it is work. Click that like button and show some support for the whole alliance, basically. We should all be, every time we click on each other's shows, whether it's Megalo, IWA, New Breed, anything, whenever any of us that are in this alliance click on one of these shows, and we better click on each other's shows every time one of them come on, even if we don't watch the whole thing. We need to be clicking on the show, opening it, hitting that like button, watch if you want, subscribe, comment, whatever, but get on and at least hit the like button even if you don't have time to watch it all. We all need to do that for each other. I'm just going to say that, and I hope, Joe Rivers, you as an owner now understand that. Hopefully you go along with that. James Sargent, James Seal, everyone watching, that's a call to arms. Make sure you all do that and support each other. That's what this alliance idea is about. And it seems like MJ Jones over in New Breed agrees with me. So make sure we're doing that.
I totally agree.
I feel very strongly about that. So make sure we definitely do. Now, I went off on a little rant right there, but where I was trying to go to is you mentioned the nickname, Curb Stomp Messiah. And we mentioned other nicknames, Messiah, we have this, and the last villain alive, and whatever. Nicknames that mean more, like yours. You didn't give yourself that nickname, did you?
No, that actually came from a company called SNS Wrestling.
So a nickname that is given to someone by multiple people or other people because of what they do is more meaningful than someone just saying, I'm Stephen Benoit the Destroyer. Like, you can say whatever, but until I get in the ring and destroy people, I don't earn that nickname. So I just want to touch on that. I've always felt pretty strongly about that. So anyway, now back to what you were talking about, Joe. Sorry, I go on these tangents sometimes. I can't help it. I'm a talker, always have been, but that's why I do these shows.
I think that may come along with the age, to be honest.
Maybe, and probably still some residual effect from Sander Cool's origin story and the cookies that Will King sent me. Episode 6 of the Origins. If you guys haven't seen that, very interesting. I will not go back ever myself and rewatch that episode. Made a damn fool of myself. And I'm told that I actually fell asleep for some amount of time, passed out there or zoned out or something during that. Apparently CFT wants to have a debate, an EFED debate with Joe Rivers. What would CFT and Joe Rivers debate about?
He's a scum of the earth and has no business in this business at all. He uses all his money to buy matches. He don't win them cleanly. He buys the matches and forces the owners to have his opponent take a clean loss. He's making a joke of this industry.
I don't think we should talk too much bad about CFT anymore just because we're still trying to build up and we can't handle another CFT lawsuit at this point.
I tell you what, he comes after you, I've got more than enough money to pay off that. He can run his mouth all he wants.
I'll hold you to that because no doubt it'll be a thing. I won't say his wife's name but his wife had an altercation with one of our staff, and we had the audacity.
Oh, you mean the little whore Victoria?
No, Joe Rivers said the name and called her that. Those of you watching had nothing to do with Hybrid Wrestling Alliance. This show is brought to you by Hybrid, but we reach out and we do shows with everyone that's not even tied with Hybrid. You can be from Metal Impact Wrestling, New Era Wrestling, Rob Roman over there. Anyone, we will bring you on as a guest. Jay Fatal would love to have that guy on here. So anything that's said by our guests does not represent HWA. Just putting that out there.
We probably should have started off with that, knowing who I am.
I should have, Joe, but I guess maybe again, like we said, some of that residual cookie goodness from Will King maybe still in my system, I'm afraid. And then tired from living through last night's Malin Mania. I can't get the term out of my head. Malin Mania. It just hearing the girls in the room screaming that over and over again. After this show, I'm probably going to be in bed right away. I don't even know if I'm going to make it out of my office tonight. But
Mania. It's a party.
Yeah, I'm not much of a partier. If I was out partying, I'm pretty sure Karen, Mrs. Jericho, would maybe slap the taste out of my mouth, possibly. I don't take that literally. We don't hit each other, but be quiet and show his wife respect, Mr. Townsend says.
We're not going to talk about the locker room with her. That's another time for another day.
Indeed it is. So anyone joining in, again, hit that thumbs up, that like button for us. So we kind of know a bit about the future for Joe Rivers right now, just signing in with 3Dub and possibly other companies. You are a man that throughout your career, you've always set a goal and went for it. And just didn't stop until you got there, no matter what that goal may be. So let's talk about that in 3Dub. What is your goal there? You joined a faction that has huge superstars, all of you biting to be, or at least I know they are, trying to become the world champion over there. All three of you can't hold the world title at the same time. So is your goal something other than that?
I mean, my goal, like everybody that's even on any sort of roster, should be get to the World Heavyweight Championship. So yeah, that's my goal. But the bigger goal is to leave a mark, leave an impact. Whether it goes when I'm done with the in-ring portion of my career, if I don't go to work behind the scenes alongside Drew, or as a on-roll character for management or whatnot, I don't plan on actually leaving the business anytime soon.
Could we possibly see a Joe Rivers sitting in my chair, so to speak, one day? Calling matches on commentary. Is that something you ever thought about?
On commentary, that's possible, but like as far as like on camera, for the most part, no, my face is too ugly for that. I've taken too many shots in the face.
I was gonna say you used to be a very handsome man back in your day, Joe.
Are you hitting on me now?
Now you've got that cauliflower ear and your nose is a little crooked, but hey, I just not trying to take shots at you, but just agreeing with your point.
I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm lucky that I was even still able to have my twins after as many nut shots as Slick Rick took. Hence how he got the nickname Slick the Pee Pee Toucher.
Yeah, he loved those brass knuckles and he loved his low blows, didn't he? Or he still does.
I know. Every time I see that move executed by him, I cringe. I have lasting nightmares from that.
I've even heard that sometimes when Slick goes for that low blow, he's got his brass knuckles on in case he goes for the knockout shot to the face instead. He just puts them on and then decides. Is there truth to that? Does he go for the low blow with those knuckles on?
No, his pad is loaded with some sort of metal, so that's how he beats people. He beats him. He loads that elbow pad that he uses on the hand with the low blow, and it does a lot of damage. I remember there was a time where I was pissing blood for about 2 months because of that.
How does he get away with that? I know in HWA we do pretty heavy checks. I know every once in a while you guys are crafty, but how the heck does he make it to the ring every night with a loaded arm pad on?
I can't really honestly answer why he's got that elbow pad. I think it's something to do with an elbow injury that he's got it cleared through the doctors to be able to wear with extra support. But I know it hurts like hell.
I guess if you have a tool, you use it, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. But so a little bit your future with 3Dub. You've got there. We're approaching the 1 hour mark here. So let's get ready to kind of tie things up here. I don't know if is there anything else that you wanted to chat about? Any announcements to make? Any words for the fans? Anything before we call it a show?
I just seen James's question. What are the thoughts on FIP? Honestly, most of them I have the utmost respect for. Like Topic and Devil Dog, I have the utmost respect for them. But the newer breed that call themselves, such as DTM and Logan, they're just a bunch of wannabe entitled little brats that are trying to use the FIP name for their own benefit instead of trying to make a name for themselves alongside FIP.
Yeah, when they came on, that was kind of a weird spot there. Actually, in 3Dub when they were breaking, those guys were brought in to help form sort of Michael Blaze's resistance that he called Havoc. So yeah, I definitely was wondering what people thought of that. So you are basically saying that you were against them coming in as well and being members of FIP, it sounds like.
I was 100% against them being there. I don't feel like they really earned it. They didn't really earn. I mean, the meaning of the name is you're forged through pain, forged through the trial that you put through. At that time, they weren't really been through any trial. Both of them were pretty much upcoming rookies. Well, we know Logan was because he just graduated straight out of my school. But like DTM really wasn't that heard of. And back then when he first joined, and he's just a mouthy, cocky little shit. And so was Logan. He was pretty much the pretty boy of Forged in Pain that thought he could get away with everything by his looks.
Kind of firing would just do what Michael Blaze basically wanted them to do, it sounds like.
Yeah, just pretty much lapdogs. I'm 100% confident when I say that Michael Blaze could have found better recruitment, and I think if he would have gone somewhere else along those lines and finding a different recruitment for FIP, they still would be around 100 and be a force to be reckoned with. But now you see bits and pieces of him with Colt Shields slowly reemerging from whatever bowels or swamp of hell that he came from. He's slowly coming back.
We're hoping to have him on here at some point to tell his story as well. Colt Shields definitely been very quiet, and we all know the close relationship that he and Devil Dog had together, and still we see him once in a while, but Colt, one of those die-hard FIP guys, he lived and breathed it, and you could see that since the disbanding of Forged in Pain, he's just kind of almost been a recluse. I haven't really heard much from him, haven't seen him many places. He took that very hard, and mentioning Devil Dog, he fought about that he's not the leader of it, but everyone looks and everyone knows Devil Dog, he was the face, the voice of Forged in Pain. He takes the whole disbanding, the whole breakup of Forged in Pain solely on his shoulders. That's the way he feels. He thinks 100% it was his fault because of how things went, how he brought them to 3-dub, changing their motives, led them in a heel direction that they shouldn't have, chasing Ghost after K-Baby died, he blaming everyone. His mind just was not right. So he takes full responsibility for the breakup of Forged in Pain.
I fully believe that it was not Devil Dogs. I think it was... I don't want to put the sole blame on Michael either, because I have the utmost respect for Michael, but I think it's more of the recruitments that he brought in. I think that was the wrong choice.
Yeah, a mix of things, it seems. You get that much, that many egos, that many top guys all together, that there's bound to be... It didn't really seem like a power struggle thing, but I can't quite put my finger on exactly what happened there. So any closing words from Joe Rivers you want to say to anybody out there? That's kind of how we usually end a closing from our guest. Any words of wisdom to up and coming stars? Any catchphrases, slogans, anything? What you got for us?
I would have to say just keep working at it. Listen to the veterans. For the rookies, listen to the veterans. Take what they say to heart. They're going to steer you in the right way you need to go to be a long-lasting career. As far as any tips or anything, just put your mind to it and keep working on it. As far as huge announcements, stay tuned. Tune into 3-Dubs, Texas Stampede, or the Stampede Rumble. Tune into that. Watch the groundbreaking stuff that happens.
Sounds good, Joe. And again, thank you for checking in with us. You are always welcome during a regular episode, or if you see me on have the secondary podcast, Cup of Coffee with SBJ, where we can just sit down and BS a little bit. Open discussion sort of show that we have at random. But again, thank you, Joe Rivers. Everyone watching, hit that like button if you haven't already. Joe, you have a great day. I'm going to put this phone down here, hang up, and close out my broadcast. Again, thank you. Have a good night, Joe.
You too.
We hope to see you there tonight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed that deep dive into the backstory and career a little bit of Joe Rivers. It wasn't as in-depth at points in the early stages as I like. It was a little bit disorienting sitting there trying to hold that phone and do it that way. It's a little easier for anyone watching in the future. If you want to be part of Origins, actually reach out to Hayden Milliken, who is sort of our scribe and creates the list for us to go off. Want to touch here IWA, James Seal, pulling up a good piece of info for all of you. Sunday, January 31st. We just talked about these two Forged in Pain brothers. These guys, they may not have been blood, but they are as thick, were as thick as it ever comes for two non-blood people being brothers. Devil Dog puts his IWA television championship on the line against his Forged in Pain brother, Colt Shields. And again, that is Sunday, January 31st on the IWA, Intense Wrestling Alliance Network. So make sure you guys check that out. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for jumping on the show. Are there any more questions before we close? I'll take just a moment longer. We are at an hour and 6 minutes about. Any more questions, announcements, anything before we close? Nothing? Okay. That being said, all the Alliance members, all the different groups out there, be checking the page, because every week in the Hybrid Wrestling Alliance group, I will be starting in the saved announcements section a weekly thread for you all to share your shows with. Like New Breed, you have a show coming up, I believe, Monday? So I will be having a brand new post for that. So just simply, when you see that post pop up, put it in the comments section. Just, highlight it on your YouTube channel, share it right there. And I'm going to put a new page up every week so everyone can post their weekly programs to that page, whether it's a podcast, whether it be your actual wrestling program, whatever. Put it there. Any major announcements that you would like shared during our show, make sure you get in my personal messages and let me know so we can put a package together. We will be doing often sort of a little feature like we did last week. With XVPW, had a little commercial in there for them. So different things that we can do to help as a community bind together. Again, thank you all. Click that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you here at 7 o'clock for Hybrid Origins, or Hybrid Universe, Episode 18. Title matches, number one contender matches. We have that King Dominator open challenge that was answered by John Awesome. All kinds of stuff on the show tonight. So make sure to come right back here. Friday, too. There you go. A show Friday from New Breed. So make sure you get that saved on here, guys. And again, everyone check out each other's shows. Every time you open a show, click like. Open a show, click like. Open a show, click like. Just do it. It's easy. 0.2 seconds. I do it every time I open one. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you all for joining. I look forward to seeing you all. Wrestle Talk Radio. Good shout out right there. That's always shared onto Donnell Brown's page. He sends that to 3Dub often. Couple guys get on and they sit there and he chats about basically our wrestling universe. So a good show. Check that out if you're into listening to these podcasts. Alex Priest, thank you for checking in. A little bit late, but hit that like button. You too, Donnell. Go back and rewatch the show. Again, everyone have a good night. We'll see you later on for the Hybrid Universe show.